Alright, we are back. I'm surprised to see there's been a little bit more enthusiasm about me doing this than I expected. I do have to say, it's every time I encounter this series, particularly this specific game, because this seems to be the one that made the biggest splash, it feels like I'm just floored by the very compact, concentrated enthusiasm for this. I find it very amusing. But one thing that I should comment on, something I don't want to misrepresent here, there's been so far precisely one comment on the frame rate. I don't want to misrepresent the game itself. I don't believe this game natively runs at like 10 frames per second, whatever you're saying here. This is a separate issue. Oh boy. Goodbye. This is a separate issue on my end, more like. So I figured I'd have to have a conversation about this at some point. I've had to do the same before. But, yeah, there you go. But a big reason why I find it a bit of a pain. Where do we want to go from here? Oops. Press the wrong button to activate the gyrocopter there. Timing is very important for gyrocopter.
Ready, set,
I love that squeaking sound as you roll without actually... Oh. Okay, didn't realize I bounced so much as he rotate without actually moving. But anyways, as I was saying, one thing that bugs me so hard about trying to get these PC games running is there are so many layers of complication here. One major complication for me trying to run this is, and this is in part my own fault for my stubbornness and running a more original version of this, rather than, I don't know, like the web versions people have made and so on. Okay, I really need to stop taking that so quickly. But so I'm running this in a virtual machine, but that has implications. Oh jeez. Okay, didn't realize I was going that fast.
ready.
And one complication with trying to run a 3D game in a virtual machine is this thing known as hardware acceleration. Generally, you like to use your GPU for, your graphics processing unit for graphics processing, rather than rendering things in 3D.
Set, go.
But getting that to work can be a little non-trivial, particularly getting it to work in a virtual machine like this.
Ready,
It used to be, so I'm running this in VirtualBox on Windows. That is, Windows goes guest and host. Almost. Oh, scraping the wall there. And it's specifically a Windows 7 guest. But one complication with trying to run stuff in 3D with... Man, I didn't think I was going that fast. With graphics acceleration, or specifically 3D acceleration, on VirtualBox these days is some time ago, I believe it was the 7.0 update they made, and you have to use the ramp. I'm just taking this too fast, I think.
ready, set, go.
I think it was a 7.0 update. They basically broke a whole bunch of stuff related to 3D acceleration, is a perhaps non-generous way of putting it. I think they completely removed support for 3D acceleration on XP and earlier, or maybe just XP, I don't know if they had support for earlier already. Almost. Trying to take that more slowly. And while it still supposedly exists in Windows 7, which is what I'm running Marble Last Gold on right now, it, to be honest, still has issues. In particular, if I try to run this game of 3D acceleration, what ends up happening is it... Slow down, slow down. Oh wait. I overcorrected. What ends up happening is... it doesn't render anything, I just get a black screen. Whether I'm running window mode or full screen or any other thing. I've played with all those things I can. Interestingly, actually, the game normally runs in OpenGL. I've tried to switch to Direct 3D, and that actually just caused the game to crash immediately, in fact. So I haven't, strictly speaking, been able to try Direct 3D. Whoa, I had a lot of spin there. Saved up.
Super jump.
Okay, I need to take that with a bit more confidence. You need more speed there. I wasn't sure if I needed to move forward as much or not, because I keep going too fast.
Go.
Take this a little slowly. Let's see, there you go. That's about the right speed.
Gyrocopter.
Yeah, so you don't intend to actually touch any of, whoops, any of this stuff here. I think we're good, we should be good. And you get a lot of spin if you hold direction in the air. I've never seen a game do that, I need to get used to that.
Super jump.
It's really useful, but jeez. There's a whole lot. Okay, so where do we need to go from here? What do we need to do? Where do we want to go from here? I see there's the... Can't quite tell what the... Oh! Okay. So let me jump here. There we go. The fact you don't need to touch the ground is fantastic. Anyways, kind of saying this piecewise here, but the short of it is I haven't been able to get, with my modern version of VirtualBox, I haven't been able to get 3D acceleration to work on here, which means it runs a lot more slowly because I'm running 3D graphics on pure CPU. Even with the lowest graphics things I can manage, it's still a bit laggy. Oh boy, qualifying time now. High road and low road both, fantastic. Which means the game's running slowly. More slowly than it would otherwise. You could also say this is partly the fault of me being a bit stubborn about installing stuff on my host machine instead of in a virtual machine. I find that generally trying to run these really old things on a recent host machine is usually not a good idea for various reasons. It usually doesn't work out very well. And these games tend to leave lots of stuff left behind on your computer installed in various places that are rather annoying. I could take those jumps there if I want to be faster, but we'll see. We'll try to be safe for the moment. Ah! That's an annoying bump.
Ready, set, go!
But one idea, of course, would be to just downgrade this VirtualBox installation to back to 6.0, but annoyingly, I happen to already use VirtualBox for other stuff. Like, I have other virtual machines I actually do need to be able to keep using. And VirtualBox doesn't officially support downgrading anything, so I would not have any guarantee I could still keep using. Okay, so you need to... What you can do, you can start from low or high, those are both fine. I think. But yeah, so I would run the risk of... Oh, really? Jeez. Okay, I don't know why I just lost control there. Nothing went crazy in the physics, I just fell right off.
Set, go!
So... I haven't managed to devise a way to downgrade a VirtualBox installation without being certain that I would lose the ability to use my other virtual machines. Alright. That I need to use for other purposes.
Ready, set, go!
So, it's a whole mess of stuff. This is... I mean, between this and all sorts of other issues I've had in the past playing old PC games, I wish playing old PC games was easier than it is, but it's not. It tends to be a bit of a nightmare in my opinion. Like, I watch people making reviews of old PC games and so on, and I see the sorts of... Come on, this is gonna be a lot harder than it probably should be.
Ready,
I feel like this part should not be difficult, but... Also, can I just, like, drop down there from here? I feel like I could just do that. Where's the gem game precisely?
set, go!
I don't feel like the bounce should be that lethal per se.
Super jump.
Oh, you do need to go... Okay, so the gym is a bit over here. May or may not be any more fast to take this route. I don't know. Trying to get up to the super jump here is actually really annoying. Could in theory use the super jump I already got on the way down.
Ready,
Or I might even just jump all the way back up, but that'd probably be really slow. Alright, Like, I see people making reviews on a lot of old PC games, and man, the lengths I see them go to get games to even run, in some cases at all, but especially properly. Ugh. Like, I don't know if you're normally able to see the seams in the corners of the skybox in this game, but I can see them right now. I don't know, I don't know why it would be that I can see these, since I'm running this. Well, I guess I'm specifically running it on a much more modern OS than it was expected to run on in the first place. Running this on 7. But this is, as far as implications for me playing this go, one concern I do have, one big concern I've had the entire time, and I think it's something I'm feeling right now pretty considerably, is it does leave me pretty concerned about how much more difficult it's going to be to play this game when it's at probably like a third of the frame rate it's supposed to be. Because honestly, playing this at the frame rate I'm playing it is pretty tough, because it makes it really difficult to move more subtly and make more fine movements like you might want to. As if the finest movement I can make is pressing forwards or back or whatever direction at full strength for a full, say, like 1/10 of a second, that's a lot more than being able to hold a direction for only, say, a 30th or a 60th of a second if the game's running at a higher frame rate. So I think I am at a bit of a handicap when it comes to things like trying to make fine adjustments to my velocity or do whatever with really fine timing, like jumping or doing anything else with really specific timing. Go! Ah! Well, probably just lost this already, because I think it was 130 I had to do. Almost. Yeah, it's not a very nice, kill time 22 seconds. Not a very nice route that I'm taking here, but...
Go!
Ah.
Ready!
But I'm trying to make it work.
Go!
So I do ask for patience in these things. It's not like I don't notice and I don't dislike the frame rate here. But I would like to get to play this and take a look regardless. You could try to joke that it's authentic to, okay, I'm totally losing control here. You could joke that it's authentic to play this at a really low frame rate, because some people back in the day probably would have underpowered computers and would still have to play this more or less the way I'm playing it now.
Set! Go!
But it still makes the game way harder than it has to be. And there are games that were basically made to be played at low frame rates, and infamously, Lego Island had an issue with the camera where the camera speed was tied to frame rate. And the only way for the camera's frame rate, or for the camera's movement speed to not be utterly ridiculous would be to play the game with a bunch of lag. And now on a modern machine they can actually run it at full speed. The camera goes haywire if you don't put in a patch. Oh, come on. You know, I'll probably take this slow way up there. I'd rather be consistent than fast, even though I do need to be a little faster.
Go!
I don't necessarily need the super jump right here anyways. I didn't really need to use it for anything last time either. Could perhaps do something clever routing-wise with it. I'm not sure. Ah, man.
Ready! Set!
But yeah, if I look unusually clumsy, I have a feeling that that's why, because I'm playing this game through the filter of, like, really low frame rate. And it definitely makes playing the game feel a lot harder than it should be. But if you think it's a little hard to watch at a low frame rate, believe me, it's much harder to play. Ah, man, see, little dumb things like that. I feel like I'd be a little bit less afraid of and run into fewer issues with if not for that. I'll try to finish this level this episode at least.
Super jump.
But yeah, I was kind of hoping I could just kind of say nothing about frame rate and nobody would say anything about it in turn. Which was, of course, quite silly. Like, it's extraordinarily obvious watching this. How the game is running. I'd rather people not notice the poor frame rate and think I'm just bad at the game, probably, rather than notice the poor frame rate and be bothered by it, but believe me, it's not for lack of trying to get this game to run better. It's just for lack of success. No. I think we should be able to get this just now. We have a good deal of time left. It still bugs me how small the gyms are in this game, though. Seriously. Oh boy. Okay, perfect. All right. So yes. Yes, it's not like the capture is lagging or anything like that, like the frame rate's just an issue of the recording. No, the game's actually at the speed you're saying. Anyways, so next time we'll pretend I didn't talk about any of the things I just talked about today, and instead we'll just keep playing as if that's not a thing. Bye everyone. And if we ever do get to, say, marble it up a later game in the series, which, if I enjoy this game as much as I have been enjoying it so far, I will probably do. A smooth 60 frames per second is what we'll probably get. Or 30, whatever. Might be running at 60 and record at 30, that's what I've usually been doing. I'm old-fashioned, I got stuck in the recording and uploading things in 30 frames per second thing. Because that's how it used to be back in my day. Whatever, anyways, see you then.